And now for Goldfinger, the man with a truly unusual touch. Artists work in all sorts of media, but not many have the daring, the nerve, to use one of the Earth's most precious metals as the stuff of their dreams. But how did Rita Braver find this eccentric recluse? Just watch.
Why do I work with this? I work with it because I don't understand it. I work with it because I like the purple glow that comes off of this when it gets hot. Look at this. Look how fluid. I work with it because I dream about all the people that maybe 3,000 or 4,000 years ago saw the same thing. Hold your hand out. Don't be afraid.
To watch Daniel Brush in action in his New York studio is to see a man consumed with the sheer joy and adventure of creating art.
Sharp, be careful. It all starts this way. It starts me looking at the gold, and the gold saying, do.
And here's what Brush has done with the gold for the past 25 years. It's on view in his one-man show at the Renwick Gallery in Washington, D.C. Etruscan-inspired jeweled pieces, playful objects like a fossil ivory and gold yo-yo, a Bakelite rabbit studded with pink diamonds. There are gold mosaic boxes and small abstract sculptures of gold and steel as mysterious as landscapes from an imaginary planet.
You enter into a kind of connectedness with an object.
Jeremy Adamson is the curator of the Renwick Gallery.
The mysterious quality to it, the notion that it almost sort of opens up a kind of an experience which we don't normally have with a thing.
Among the most spectacular works are domes of polished steel and gold, composed of as many as 78,000 minuscule granules.
Each of those little granules is 0.0028 of an inch in diameter, minuscule, almost microscopic. And in order to place them in perfect regularity and their logical precision, he uses a 2-hair sable brush.
And if, as you look at these wondrous works, you are asking yourself, why haven't I heard of Daniel Brush? Well, there is a simple answer.
Among 1,000 clouds and 10,000 streams,
Brush has been a recluse for more than a quarter of a century.
field of stone.
Admittedly and happily eccentric, he spent most of his time in his studio.
Woods are bright and the moon
He read poetry with his wife Olivia, who's also an artist. He studied Asian philosophy, and most of all, he created his gold pieces, drawing inspiration from his amazing collection of antique English and French lathes.
I didn't know how to run them. I met an older man, 85 years old. He said, put the books away, put the pictures away. Let the machine tell you what it has to say. So the machines, with a little bit of my help, made the pieces they wanted to make.
Ironically, it was Brush's success that drove him into seclusion. He had just quit teaching art at Georgetown University.
When you came to New York, you in fact showed your work to some jewelry outlets,
Right.
who absolutely wanted to buy it.
Right.
And you didn't want them to.
Right. And in 3 occasions on one Saturday afternoon, I was offered to absolutely take everything I had. In fact, someone said I could sell 5 pairs of those earrings that day. Would you make them quickly? I'm not a cottage industry. I don't repeat. Everything is one of a kind. I withdrew instantly.
At first, it was tough going.
For years, the phone never rang.
But ultimately, he was lucky enough to meet someone who helped support him and began buying some of his work.
Patron sounds very sophisticated and maybe a little pseudo for me. It's very selfish. I get enormous joy and pleasure out of looking and living with the objects that I do have.
Ralph Esmerian is a dealer in precious gems and a collector of art.
Possibly. There is that primitive touch, and yet it is so bloody civilized and sophisticated when you think of the workmanship that went into this. This is not just a machine that's pounding it out. This is a human being that is, bit by bit, each one of these slopes is done by hand.
By word of mouth by Esmerian and others, more serious collectors began acquiring Brush's work. He will not identify most owners, but the Aga Khan reportedly has a Brush piece. And here's an odd thing. Brush won't sell you his work, which can range into 6 figures, unless you come see him in his studio and show you understand it.
I like the idea that it is difficult and it takes time to go to an artist. Bear with me.
But what a time. Brush made a reporter feel like a princess, trying on a pearl and gold necklace, watching and listening as he opened box after box after box of treasures.
They're all engraved. They're all pure gold and steel. And each one has about 400 hours in its making.
Daniel Brush began as, and still is, a painter.
I've been making the same painting for 30 years.
In fact, before he went into seclusion, he had several successful one-man shows in Washington.
Okay, what are we to make of it?
At first glance, each painting looks like nothing more than lines.
I'm going to show you one that was painted last week.
But to Brush, those lines represent his training and discipline. Each work done in a marathon session, some taking up to 26 hours straight.
It's not a painting about reference. It's a painting about approach, commit, execute, off.
Would his art be as wonderful if he wasn't as strange as he is?
All I can say is thank God there are these people who have such a kind of divine commitment and obsession that they can indeed focus on creation in whatever medium.
Yeah, look, you see, you can control your own composition. You can change.
But the question now is why Brush decided to emerge after 25 years. Not only with the Renwick exhibit, but also with a new book by the prestigious art publisher Harry Abrams. Why has Daniel Brush finally decided to step into the spotlight?
I was ready. I've looked at people sitting as you are, one to one, making noises. I like the noises. I like that kind of noise. And I wanted to learn about other people's lives. It will make me do the next piece.